Reddit says a level 1 Aarakocra Cleric can kill a 2014 Tarrasque with a tactic called kiting. Let's roll for knowledge. Hey folks, Ron from Dungeon Noob here. So the theory sounds simple, right? Fly high above the Tarrasque and just keep hitting it with Sacred Flame. Reddit says the math is guaranteed, while experienced DMs say you'd get splattered by a thrown rock in the first round. So, who's right? I ran 2,000 simulations to find out. I'm going to show you what actually happens when theory meets reality. And by the end of the video, you'll see why even the strongest monsters have a weakness. So first, I wanted to test the pure theory. One passive Tarrasque, one flying Aarakocra Cleric, Sacred Flame only. And by passive, I mean it just stands there and does absolutely nothing. Now, a quick rules check. The Tarrasque has Frightful Presence, but our Aarakocra Cleric is casting Sacred Flame, and from how I understand it, that's a spell save, not an attack roll. So they're actually unaffected by the fear for the main attack. Pretty clever, huh? Okay, picture this. The most feared monster in D&D mythology is approaching a town. A cleric enclave dispatches one Aarakocra to defend the city. In this simulation, the Tarrasque is completely motionless, just stands there. The Aarakocra hovers out of range just above it, casting Sacred Flame over and over again. Now, though the Tarrasque is resistant to magic, it's not perfect, and Sacred Flame will still connect about a quarter of the time. The result? Yeah, the cleric wins 100% of battles. But on average, it took 1,000 rounds, with one fight taking over 1,600 rounds. And I think that's about 3 to 4 hours of real table time rolling pretty fast. So yes, the Reddit theory works, but I mean, come on, the Tarrasque isn't just going to stand there and just take the beating. So let's put that lone Aarakocra against an active Tarrasque. Does the Reddit theory still stand? So I gave the Tarrasque what any DM would. The ability to throw things. It could toss bell towers, rocks, cows, and the unfortunate townsfolk. Now remember, the Aarakocra is incredibly fragile. Basically, it's unarmed and it'll go down in a single hit with maybe 11 or 12 hit points. The result? The Tarrasque won 100% of the time, usually in just one round. I even watched it score a nat 20 with a bell tower, instantly obliterating the cleric, and I can imagine just like this feathery explosion. Sorry Reddit, the lone Aarakocra gets splattered every time. But that made me ask a new question. What if it wasn't just one bird? So, what if the entire monastery decided to take revenge? I started scaling up the numbers. 2 clerics, 5, 10 clerics. Still not enough. The cleric could pick them off faster than they could hurt it. I was going to keep scaling. 10, 15, 20, 30, etc. But then the AI did something that was weird. At 12 clerics, the battle became a toss-up. For the first time ever, the win rate nearly hit 50%, the tipping point where the Tarrasque was no longer the guaranteed winner. Then I kept going. 13 clerics, 14 clerics, and then at 15, according to the simulation, it was no longer a coin flip. The outcome was a near certainty that the clerics would beat the Tarrasque. And this is where I had an issue with the simulation. The battle becomes a brutal race against the clock of sorts. Think about it. The Tarrasque takes 2 clerics off the board every single round, guaranteed. The flock of clerics needs to deal all 676 of the Tarrasque's hit points before the Tarrasque kills the very last cleric. So I ran the numbers, and a flock of 15 just doesn't win. By the time the 8th round starts, the last cleric is killed, and the Tarrasque is still standing. So that led me to my final question, which was, how many clerics would it actually take to defeat D&D's classic kaiju? Well, I did the math, which is pretty easy to be honest. The answer? 52. With 52 clerics, they have enough bodies to absorb the guaranteed losses and still have enough firepower left on the field to finish the job. And for anyone who wants to double check my math, I wasn't the best in grade school. I've left a link down in the description if you want to check it out. Okay, a quick pause. A viewer took my real-life D&D class quiz and said, I can absolutely see myself being a rogue, and you can discover your class like over 1,200 others have already done with my free D&D class personality quiz. I'll send the full results, the personality assessment, right to your inbox. Now back to the video. Okay, so despite the simulation's miscalculation, we can actually learn something. Action economy with raw numbers can beat raw power. Eventually. One weak enemy is nothing. 52 weak enemies? Well, they can kill the strongest monster in the game. After 2,000 simulations, Reddit was right about the theory, but wrong about the practicality. One Aarakocra gets obliterated, but 52? That's the magic number to decisively destroy a Tarrasque. And for the next video, I'm pitting good versus evil, an ancient gold dragon versus an ancient red dragon. Subscribe so you don't miss it.